Hello everyone, my name is El Parnaso, and for today's video, I'm gonna show you the best mind games to win nationals, as you can see. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share the channel with your people so we can grow. Because every tournament starts way before the actual tournament. How? Let's talk about it. The first thing you need to do is to understand the human environment in the road to nationals. So I was very close in the fight for world points, so it was very assumable that people were considering me as someone heavily thinking about the nationals, right? Also, it was very assumable that people weren't thinking that much about Jamie Fiensmith. So a very natural consequence of that is that if I'm being related to Jamie the whole season, I should have changed the deck for nationals after Blazing Dominion in order for me to actually have chances to win the nationals, because technically I care about it too much, right? So when you combine these two things, how I can take the most advantage so people in my environment don't consider Jamie Fiensmith as a threat and therefore they don't prepare, and they don't consider me as a threat and therefore they don't prepare about me. The first thing that I did is, and shout outs to Carloncho store, this store made big tournaments the weeks prior any kind of big event, Yu-Gi-Oh event, like nationals or YCSs. So they made a league of 3-person each team in order to make a competitive tournament every single Saturday. I was with obviously a team of 3, and the first thing that I did in order for this to work is tell them that I was quitting the team, and therefore I was quitting joining them in the league. Why? Because it's the perfect way to let everyone know that I kinda not caring that much about nationals this time for whatever reason, right? Without trying to force to telling each and every one of them. Because if I told my team, they need to find a partner. If they need to find a partner and everyone knows that I was the third member, they are going to ask themselves, oh, why is El Parnaso not in the team anymore? And they will tell what I tell them. Well, he's just quitting. I don't know why, he's just quitting. So, plus, I need to notify the league organizer to let them know that I wasn't going to be in the league anymore. And I know that he's very close to other people, so it was very probable that a lot of people, that a lot of top tier players will know too, just by him, that I was quitting my team. So I didn't have to, and I just have to notify twice, like the league and my team, nothing else, and disappear in such a way that people will talk about this in such a minimal way at least. So this was a first advantage. Now, I think that it was very important because I already knew that Jamie Fiensmith was a top tier 1 deck, and if I go to this league still playing the Jamie Fiensmith, they will start to think that, oh, maybe Jamie Fiensmith is really a good deck right now, and I should think about that whenever I'm testing and building my deck, especially if El Parnaso is deciding to still play in the deck in his road to actually try to go to the playoff for Worlds, right? So it was very important for me to give in this scenario of maybe I'm just not thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Why? Because I still went to the first week of this league. As you can see, I ended up 11th with Eds 2. How the fuck you end up Eds 2 with 11 with Eds 2? Okay, that's for another time. So if I go with this to this tournament with a team with still Jamie, they will. It was very probable that they will start to take Jamie very seriously, because they will think, oh, El Parnaso is thinking about the game because he's trying to win nationals, and he decided willingly to still play Jamie Fiensmith. I should care about Jamie Fiensmith then, right? But because of how I approach this scenario, the image that I was portraying is, well, I just didn't compromise to this league because I'm not that compromised to nationals right now, to the point that I'm playing a deck pre-Blazing Dominion. You see how the perspective is changing, right? So I needed to make sure of that. It was very important for this to work. Why? Because I still, even though I quit my team and everything, I needed to still to at least have 1 week of playing a tournament with this such amount of people, because I needed to do what I like to call anthropology work. Like whenever you make any kind of anthropology research, you need to involve yourself in the activities that the people are doing at least once so you can understand it better. So at least 1 week I needed to go to the tournament to feel the people, right? This anthropology research. So thanks to this, I realized three things. The first thing is that people still consider Yami a dead deck because a lot of people approach me saying me that you were still trying to push the deck in such a way to kind of just have fun because you like the deck, or oh, you're still playing that shit. And I was very happy to hear that. The other thing is that people were still still considering Yami as a shitty deck. Like these two things were very important. That they were thinking that I was just playing to chill, and that Yami is a dead deck. But four things, sorry. But these other two following things was very important too. The third one is to see how many people are actually playing Nibiru. In order for my idea of Link Spider to actually work, I need to see at least one Nibiru to confirm that people were thinking about that card, regardless of this environment that I was building. And indeed, in my last round, I saw a Nibiru. So thanks to this tournament, I already knew that I needed to put that Link Spider in my side deck. It was information that I needed to confirm. The fourth thing, and this is something that actually surprised me, I didn't think about that, but this is why you make this kind of anthropologic research and you get directly involved, because you never know what actually is happening until you are there when it's happening. People were still thinking that I am not putting Camellia in my deck, because the two times that I made Camellia in this tournament, people actually got surprised. One even told me, "Whoa, now are you playing this card?" And thanks to that, I realized that I really, really needed to disappear, because I have a secret advantage now. People are not thinking about the possibility of me pushing a board and then making a Sky Striker Camellia, thanks to everything that I was doing in the channel, right? So after this week of work, I didn't need to play any other tournament anymore, because if, as you can see, I am the only Yami here. So if I'm still going with Yami and I'm still kind of having a success, or maybe some people were starting to actually taking it seriously, or people were starting to suspect that I was just bullshitting them all, that me quitting my team, me not going to the league was all part of my mind games. And I couldn't risk that if I'm still going and having success with the deck. So that is the first reason, that is the first main reason why I didn't need to go to the tournaments anymore. Also, to contribute to my research, I needed to actually see how they were playing. And in order to do so, I didn't need to play the tournament. I needed to watch the tournament, right? So I needed the perfect excuse that people didn't suspect anything at all. What do I did? The second week of this league, I just say that I went late. Like, oh my god, there was traffic going on, or I'd rather sleep a little bit more and I forgot. Some shit like that, right? But I'm still going because I thought that I was going to be early enough, and I didn't. But I'm already here, so I'm gonna be here with the people or whatever the fuck, right? So thanks to that, I could try to double check how people were actually playing, and their developments of their plays, and how they were feeling about in the road to the nationals, right? And for free, because like everyone will be thinking, oh, this guy just is a stupid. He just went late to the tournament, and that's the only thing that they will think of. They wouldn't be thinking, oh, he made this whole plan to spy on us without any of us noticing, because he's really trying to win nationals. So this is very important. Remember, you don't play the Yu-Gi-Oh game. You play the Yu-Gi-Oh person. It's very important. You play the man. Don't play the game. So, but I couldn't do this for the next week, right? Because then it would have been suspicious. People would actually be thinking about, hey, maybe he's just bullshitting us. Because I done this kind of mind games before. So what do I did? I talked to my girlfriend, and And I just make the idea that, oh, I'm just coming here to Arenales, to the place where the store is, because my girlfriend wants to eat something otaku that she likes, that it's only here. So while I wait for her to come here, I'm just double checking what you are doing, guys, because Yu-Gi-Oh is what I do when I comes to this place, right? I'm just waiting for my girlfriend. So yeah. So that is how I just took 2 weeks of spying all these people, trying to see how they were playing and what kind of decks were having success, and how people were reacting to this success in order to my deck building, in order to my approach of priorities. I think that, and as you can see, all of this went actually really nice, because when I was playing the actual nationals, 4 times, and don't, and I'm not shitting you right now. 4 times, people actually were surprised when pushing a board. I summoned a Sky Striker Camellia. I'm pretty sure that at least 2 of them weren't even thinking about the possibility of me having that card on my deck. Why? Because I made this approach. Because I didn't go to the tournaments to expose myself and whatever I was trying to do. Also, it almost none of them were thinking or building their decks around Jamie Fiensmith, because they didn't have any single reason to worry about Jamie Fiensmith being a top contender in this national championship. Which means that whenever they face me, they are thinking, and they see the Jamie cards, they are thinking, why I'm facing against this shitty deck that shouldn't be existing anymore, instead of actually playing the game. Not only that, some people will even be thinking that I am just washed up right now and I'm just showing off my civil obligation to go to nationals, instead of they realizing that I prepare all these weeks in order to win the nationals with these kind of mind games that I insist are very important whenever you approach a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. And these things help me to push against a lot of players, because if they are not prepared against Yami Fiensmith or any kind of deck and they face that deck, in the moment they are thinking, why I'm facing this deck, instead of actually thinking about how to deal with it. And they sometimes won't even know how to deal with it because they weren't thinking about it. Let's think about that for a second. If you are picking a new deck like Kultun, that it was a post-Blazing Dominion deck, you are recently thinking about how to build and to play this deck against the other decks. So if you don't prepare against decks that you don't consider like Jamie Fiensmith, even if you know how Jamie Fiensmith kinda works, or you have an idea of how Jamie Fiensmith works, you don't know how to use your specific new deck against those kind of interactions. And you get punished by it, which was also an advantage when I go to these nationals, right? But again, and I insist, I try to make 100% sure with everything that I just told you that they don't think about neither Jamie Fiensmith nor myself, because that is also an advantage when you understand the specific human scenario and environment that you are and try to take advantage of it. In this case, what were the scenario and the things that I needed to exploit? That my environment weren't thinking about Jamie Fiensmith anymore, that my environment started to believe that I was dealing with other things besides Yu-Gi-Oh that put Yu-Gi-Oh in fourth place or even less in my life, and therefore I was just playing with my Jamie Fiensmith to have fun while playing Yu-Gi-Oh to chill and just chill, and therefore not buying any Blazing Dominion card. And that people still have in their minds that I rip in one of my videos the Sky Striker Camellia, to the point that I made a YCS top 16 without that card in my Jammy deck. So you can see how making this kind of mind games, making this kind of anthropologic research will help you sometimes even more than technical play when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh and the actual tournaments that you are playing. I can't emphasize this enough. Like, you need to understand that not everything in Yu-Gi-Oh is just knowing your combos or buying spreadsheets or some shit like that. These kind of things matters, because at the end of the day, we are all humans, and you can see here the results of that approach that I built. But you need to build it, maybe you won't do it the same way that I did, but you need to understand your own environment and take advantage of that. Let's say that you are someone that absolutely no one cares, or when they build their deck or when they think about a tournament. You can use that as an advantage to just chill around the locals of whenever you are, because no one cares about you. And then while no one thinks about you, you are seeing all their side deck, you are seeing all their side patterns, you are seeing how they make their combos, how they break boards, and you are getting that knowledge for free, because they are not getting nothing out of you doing that, because they are not suspecting about you. So you can see how, depending of your specific environment, you can take advantage, you can take a specific advantage, as I did in order to win the national championship, because mind games are a priority when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. So if you enjoyed this video and this explanation, leave a like, leave a subscribe, and share the channel with your people. Bye bye.